Welcome, everybody, to Yanks in Europe, episode 14. So sorry we took a little bit of the break there with the holidays going on, and a big congratulations to my friend David for his big engagement over the weekend.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a long work in progress, and finally glad to get it done with.
Get
Excited.
it done. We're so happy to hear. Congratulations, man. We've also got a lot of news to cover today between Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year. Uh, we're almost in January. It's transfer time. Got a lot of transfers to talk about. Some big games that happened over the midweek and the weekend. Also, we're going to give out our official Yanks in Europe Team of the Year, which will be great to run through. And then at the end, we'll close out with some huge games going on in the Premier League with a lot of other leagues on break, but. David, I'll let you kick it off with these Player of the Year. One of them was a little surprising, the other one not so much.
Yeah. So for the Player of the Year for the United States national team, Weston McKennie actually claimed the award for his first time. This was the third year in a row to where he was a finalist for the award. Obviously, the last 2 years have gone to Christian Pulisic. He's won the last 2 years, and we kind of assumed Pulisic would get the third one in a row. To claim his third one, but it goes to Weston McKennie. It's well deserved by McKennie. He's obviously made the transfer over to Juventus, although it was on loan. Juventus has made it very clear that they want to sign him. They want to make it full time.
Hmm.
McKennie has
I
been
think 23
playing.
million was the talk.
Yeah, I think I saw 23 minute. Also,
Bargain.
McKennie's also started probably 4 or 5 of the last matches for Juventus. I mean, it seems like he is a day in and day starter now for Juventus. He's been playing excellent. Um, the biggest club in Italy, the first American to really play for Juventus, and the fact that he's pretty much starting almost every game right now, it's well deserved. Obviously, the national team, he played excellent in the games against Panama and Wales. He was the focal point. He was the leader of the team with Christian Pulisic not there due to injury. Weston McKennie's that next man after Pulisic. He's the next man on the team
Yeah.
that's going to get everybody together. Just a great guy all around, and he well deserved.
Yeah, I kind of want to, before we move into the young player, yeah, Pulisic didn't win this award, but I think out of the last 3 years, this was Pulisic's best year. And it goes to show how the American talent is kind of getting better and better. The fact that Pulisic had his best year of his career and didn't win the Player of the Year award for the third year. So, I mean, if he had performed the way he did last year or the year prior to that, I think it's a
Hmm.
no-brainer again for Pulisic to win this award. But, there's the likes of Weston McKennie, Serginho Dest. I'm not even sure if Pulisic was second in voting here.
Uh, so 44% of the votes went to McKinney,
Gotcha. Only
27% to Pulisic, and then
gotcha.
14 for Dest. So
Yeah, so there, I
a
mean,
second. But yeah,
other
I mean,
people going there.
it's deserved for McKinney. And it's just going to get even more interesting coming next year with all the talent that's playing over there in Europe and all the guys that are actually starting game in and game out. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be in the running for it next year. But
Oh,
just to keep it rolling,
if we get
for
a
the young
calendar year
player,
of Musa,
huh?
if
Yeah,
we
I
get a
know. So
calendar
I'm
year of
saying.
him,
Yeah. For the young player of the year, Giovanni Reina. I don't think we have any complaints with that. When we saw the list for the people up there, we're like, no, what? Gio's been excellent this year for Borussia Dortmund. We expected him to get it. Um, he was named the winner. Obviously, he's been playing incredible for Borussia Dortmund. He scored a goal against Panama on a free kick. His first Bundesliga goal was that incredible curler against Brennan in the last season where he curled it back post. And I remember seeing that goal. Oh my god, this kid's legit! Like that was incredible. He's also if you keep track of fantasy, like fantasy Bundesliga, he was named to the for the team of the year, like for the season so far. He's one of those midfielders in the four for fantasy. Assists, goals all the time. He seems to really be the only player in form for Borussia Dortmund right now. Obviously, with Erling
yeah,
Haaland injured, their other stars like Marco Reus, Julian Brandt, Jordan Sancho, they just seem to be out of it. And they had a disappointing loss. The last match out, their manager was sacked. A lot seems to be going on right now for Dortmund, and we hope that they can turn it around. Obviously, with Holland coming back and getting healthy, that's going to definitely help with them. But it seems like Reina is really the only guy in form right now for in their attacking presence,
yeah,
and
I
it's
totally
just
agree.
great to see him get this award. It's well deserved for him.
Yeah, of course. So elsewhere in just some news across the world, the Columbus Crew, shocking, ends up winning the MLS Cup. What do you think of
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, they shocked the favorite, Seattle Saunders. I honestly thought Seattle Saunders were going to win it. I thought the star power with Jordan Morris and Christian Rodon and what's his name, Alvadero, were going to
Loguero,
pull
like
it
they
out.
just had
Yeah,
everybody.
Stephen Fry at the keeper. Yeah, but it's great for them. Yessi Zardes gets a MLS Cup. It's great to see Columbus Crew win it. Obviously, Seattle's pretty much been there in the title in the game, probably what 3 of the last 5 years. It seems Seattle's always in the finals, semifinals.
Hmm.
They're definitely the powerhouse right now in the MLS when it comes to the Western Conference.
Exactly, exactly. And I always love when a club gets their first cup. So it's a big congratulations to Columbus.
Mm.
Not so happy news though coming out of MLS. LAFC loses the CONCACAF Champions League final last night after having a 1 goal lead pretty late in that game. A lot of people aren't kind of looking as deep into this as I am.
Mm-hmm.
The CONCACAF Champions League is a big event, and just think of it how the Champions League in Europe is the biggest tournament there, and the winner of that goes to the tournament that is known as the Club World Cup, where
Mm-hmm.
every single champion from the continent goes and plays each other. And this is something that the MLS hasn't actually gotten a team to. In the last 10 years, the MLS has had a team in the finals only 4 times out of the last 10 years. It's been a team, 2 teams from Mexico playing, a team from Guatemala makes the final occasionally. And no team from the MLS has actually won this tournament since 2000. So it's been 20 years, and a team from Mexico wins it every single year. Just going back, Tigres won it last night. Monterrey, Chivas, Pachuca, America wins it a bunch of times. Cruz Azul. Um, we kind of, I would like to see us get in the running. And actually, if you want to get technical with it, it's the first time that the United States team has been in it in 10 years because Toronto and Montreal were both in this tournament in the final within the last 5 or 6 years. Real Salt Lake was in the final in 2010. So, this is kind of big, and I don't want to say embarrassing the fact that, again, we couldn't get the final done. But I kind of just wanted to get your perspective a little bit on that because we keep saying the MLS is growing and we're getting so much better. And if you read through Twitter, so many people think that we are above the Mexican League, and I keep saying, hold your horses there. We're not, because in the tournaments where we're playing them, we're not beating them.
No, we're not, and it's tough because there definitely is talent in the MLS. Like we're not knocking that. The talent's incredible, and you can definitely see that when it comes to the transfers that are happening, that will be happening within the next calendar year. There is a lot of talent right now coming out of those MLS academy squads,
Hmm.
but when you look at it, that might be only 1 or 2 players, maybe not even per club, but you'll get like those 6, 7, 8 players per season that are good enough to go play over in Europe.
Hmm.
But when you look at it, I mean, you got the academy. Outside of the academy, a bunch of guys there in the MLS. A bunch of people are there just they after they're done playing in Europe, they'll come to the MLS. It's kind of like a retirement league for them. When you look at the likes of Higuain and Matuidi, and the fact that players that are not good enough to play in Europe can just come to the MLS and start from day one. I mean, that says something.
Hmm.
The talent is not where it is over in Europe. I think they're as talented as the Mexican League. I think they should be able to win those games. It's the same thing with the national team. The national team um, is always been competitive with Mexico. That's our biggest rival, that
Hmm.
game. I think now with this generation of the national team, we can honestly say our team is more talented. Like if you look from
Yeah,
top
if
to
you look up
bottom,
and
our
down our
squad,
team, but
it
that
may not.
team's all in Europe.
It's may not be a lot more better. Like if you look at it honestly, their starting 11 to our starting 11, it would still be close. But I think it could give the edge to the U.S. national team for the first time. Like I don't think we've ever have actually had the stronger starting 11 against Mexico. We might have had a better player here or there. Like our
Yeah.
player might have been a better top. But starting from like starting 11, ours compared to theirs, we can finally say our squad is better than
Yeah,
what
I think
Mexico
it
is.
it has a lot to do with right now the fact that we have no idea when Raul Jimenez is going to be able to play a match
Yeah.
ever again, if
And
that.
we wish him a
Yeah,
speedy recovery. And you,
obviously.
you
For those
never
who
wish
don't
that
know,
for any type of player. Yeah,
yeah, for those
fractured
who don't know, he
skull.
did have a skull fracture and actually had to have skull surgery on it. It's
Hmm.
pretty scary incident. And in my opinion, if everybody's healthy, he's the best player between the two countries. I just think Raul Jimenez is a stellar talent and a striker and can.
Yeah, outside of Christian Pulisic, yeah, I would say him and Jimenez are both of they're at that elite talent to
Yeah,
where both clubs have a lot of good players. I would like McKennie, Reyna, Des, all of them would be in that category underneath Pulisic.
mhm.
But I'd say probably within the next 3 to 4 years, they'll all be joining Pulisic in that
Exactly, exactly.
elite that
But
elite category.
I just kind of wanted to shout out that CONCACAF final.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
bugged me. They had the lead, and it seemed like as soon as Gignac scored the equalizer, LAFC had no idea what to do. They just
Hmm.
thought that they were going to cruise to the win as soon as they got the lead, and it just didn't happen. But let's close out our little news category here with some transfer rumors. There's a lot going on. We're almost to January, most exciting time of the year. Sometimes, depending on how your club's looking. For me, Chelsea supporter, I think we need to make some moves here. So January gets me excited. It seems like they either score a lot of goals or they don't score at all. So,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of gonna open it up for you. Start with Brian Reynolds because that seems to be
Yeah,
the biggest name right now.
Brian Reynolds seems to be the biggest, the most talks right now. Obviously, Aronson had just completed the transfer fee, the biggest one for a homegrown talent in MLS at 6 million. He'll be joining RB Salzburg in January, so next month he'll be going over there. It seems Brian Reynolds is going to break that. We're hearing talks around the $9.2 million range right now. We have Roma, Juventus, and Club Brugge. Those are the top three candidates right now for Reynolds. We
Hmm.
did hear that just a couple of days ago, Juventus is actually the first club to put in an offer
Yeah,
and actually complete it, as Roma and Brugge are still working towards an offer. Juventus has laid something down that they want, and
yeah.
they're sending it over to FC Dallas. But it's just incredible. Just so y'all know, Reynolds is the guy after Reggie Cannon. So
Hmm.
he was Reggie Cannon's backup at right back, and Reggie Cannon goes over to where's he at?
Bautista and
Yeah,
Portugal.
Vista, who's now he is rumored to potentially go over to Benfica now at right back. But that just goes to show that they lose a guy over to Europe, and then the next guy up is just as good, if not maybe he could be better.
He could be better. He's still young.
There's rumors that the people are saying he could be the next Trent Alexander-Arnold with
Hmm.
his size and speed and physicality over there at the right back position.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm just
so it
gonna
will
kind
be.
of close a little notice on if he does go to Juve. Juve has already said he will be on loan to Cagliari starting in January. So
Mhm.
he'll probably get a lot of match minutes in Serie A if that transfer does happen. Which if he goes to Roma or Brugge, who knows kind of what happens in any kind of layout there, as we've seen with Horvath over at Brugge. That's why I get a little skittish whenever we'll go through this list. A lot of players are a lot of Brugge is interested in a lot of American players right now.
Yeah.
Um, and if Horvath isn't playing, no offense to Club Brugge, but I don't want anybody going there. So I like the Juve one the most because I know that he'll go to Cagliari and he'll get minutes pretty much right away because Cagliari they need some defense right now.
Hmm.
Roma also sounds interesting just because of the Michael Bradley background.
Yep.
But outside of Reynolds, we already talked about Cannon. Your boy Daryl Dike.
Yeah. To keep it on the Club Brugge topic, they're the most interested club right now in Daryl DK. Orlando's said that they're not really interested in selling him this winter, and they did say that they value Daryl DK at the 9 million range. So if
Mhm.
Brugge or any club was interested in him, they're going to be looking for around that 9 million range, which is around the same range as Brian Reynolds is going for,
Yeah.
which is incredible because really before the season nobody knew Daryl DK. He was a rookie
Mm-mm.
straight out of college, and it just goes to show how great of a season he played in the MLS. And
Yeah.
if he can come back and play another year just as good, if not better, I mean his value is going to skyrocket, and there's definitely going to be clubs coming to his door calling.
Exactly. And I think that's the point of them kind of saying, well, hold
Yes,
tight on that
delaying it.
Brugge. We value him
Exactly,
at 9.
because they're expecting him to just get better next season and
Yeah.
potentially have even bigger clubs and a bigger offer come in for him
Yeah.
maybe next year.
So I think that's kind of behind the 9 million value on him. I think that takes it out of Brugge's price range,
Mm-hmm.
and makes them kind of a team that really can't get their hands on him. And also, I'm thinking come summer he signs a transfer somewhere, and kind of how Aronson is leaving in January when the MLS season ends, because unlike everywhere in Europe, the MLS gets all of their season done in one calendar year.
Yeah.
Post MLS playoffs, and who knows how far Orlando goes,
Mm-hmm.
then January comes and he goes wherever he
Yeah,
may.
it could be another Aronson
So
scenario. Yeah,
yeah, so I think he plays one more full year in the MLS, and then come next January he'll join some club midseason.
agreed. Yep.
Yeah, but we got a couple other players. Clark, more interest
Yeah.
for Juve in terms
Yeah.
of players.
Yeah, Caden Clark. Yeah, the 17-year-old attacking mid for New York Red Bulls. There was kind of a fuss when he was left off that American squad that had majority of MLS players. But the way I look at it, the kid's only 17. Like
He's a
he's
child.
gonna have his chances. I mean, he's gonna be on the Olympic team. There's got a lot of young teams like that he can still be on. It's not like he's 19, 20, 21 with all these other guys that
Mhm.
were being. He's 17 at this time, and he's definitely going to have his chances. Juventus is looking at him. RB Leipzig's working at him. We also can mention that he has a contract option for Leipzig that could go into effect in 2022. Obviously, he's with the New York Red Bulls. That's the system: New York Red
Mhm.
Bulls, RB Salzburg, Leipzig. That's all in the same system underneath the same owners. So he very well could be making a move to Leipzig and skip the whole Salzburg scenario. Like, Aronson went to Salzburg. He could skip Salzburg and go straight to Leipzig. I mean, you never know. But it's just another young talent right now that's getting looked at and potentially could get offers from some of the biggest clubs in Europe. It's great to see.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know you're kind of high on this transfer a little bit. Wolfsburg is looking into Cole Bassett.
Yeah, Cole Baskett's another young guy, 19 years old, center mid out of the Colorado Rapids, who's been playing really really well. Also, they're saying that he's speculated to be around the 5 million range. I like the Wolfsburg pickup. Obviously, you got John Brooks over there starting at center back. It would be great to have a young American come in there with John Brooks. John Brooks kind of take him under his wing and show him the system. And I would love to see him, Bassett, getting some minutes over there at Wolfsburg. I think that would be a great fit for him.
Yeah, totally agree. And to close out the transfer rumors and lead us into just a recap over the last week or so, Ricardo Pepi is apparently being looked at Juve. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to look into this too much. He, again, really, really young player. He did
17 years
score a
old.
goal in the
Yep.
playoffs to equalize, which they eventually ended up winning. So, that's kind of exciting. But I think if this was something that happened, I don't see him playing for Juve for at least 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
being that
So,
he's 17.
agreed. Yeah, and I think that might be something to where he goes into the youth system, maybe like the Juventus B team, to where he's playing like in the under 23
Yeah,
squad or
that's true.
something. Kind of like how you see Owen Alsaway's was doing that for Wolves. Richards kind of does that for Bayern. Conrad does that, plays a little on Barca B, plays on the A team and all. But before we finish the transfer rumors, I'll just say I don't know if there's any rumors yet for this guy, but this would be Jordan Morris. I think he's a topic on everybody's mind right now.
Yeah,
He's 25. He's pretty much in his prime to where all these other guys right now, we're talking about them that are 17, 18, 19, 20, they're not in their prime yet.
yeah.
That's why it'll be a good spot for them to move right now because 4 to 5 years down the line, Morris is in his prime. He's 25 right now. He's at the best. He's been playing excellent in the MLS. Do you want to see him go to Europe?
I
Good for him.
do. I just kind of worry about this kind of reminds me of the Landon Donovan transfers.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing very well at LA Galaxy, obviously in his
Yeah.
prime, and he goes to Everton, and no American is going to tell you that his time in Everton went well.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool that he was, in the blue, overplaying in Liverpool, but that's about it. And that's kind of just what I get nervous about because, as we've talked about on this podcast, is that we like him on the U.S. national team, and as long as he's staying healthy, I think he could crack that starting lineup. But if not, he's definitely one of the backup wingers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Definitely going to be a
yeah,
substitute with
and
his
I just
speed and
worry
physicality.
is he the type of player? Let's compare it to Eden Hazard, who Chelsea when he was on Chelsea, they never benched him because that like even in like cupcake games because playing
Mm-hmm.
time just keeps him good. It's like
Yeah.
and Jordan Morris is that type of player. If you give him a couple games off, he might come back a little shaky and not like in full match form. And you kind
Mm-hmm.
of just need to keep on playing him, and that's where he'll keep that form going into a World Cup possibly or a Gold Cup. And if he goes to Europe, I'm worried that drops, and that's just not a thing anymore.
I agree. I say I want him to go to Europe, but I want it to be a good fit for him. I don't want him to go to Europe and be on the bench and maybe play a game here, a game there. I want him, if he's going to Europe, I want him to go somewhere to where he's going to be starting.
Yeah, and
And
he
then,
and he's smart. If
and
Manchester City says, "Hey, we want to offer you a contract," I don't necessarily think he would take that because he
no,
knows that he'd be the third or fourth option, and
exactly. But
barring injury, he
Morris,
would play.
exactly. But he's smart. He also has the talent. Like he has the
Mhm.
talent to play in Europe. We've seen what he can do for the national team. He's one of the better players in MLS. I mean, he's been on the MLS starting like the team of the year probably 2 to 3 times now.
Mhm.
25. I just think right now would be the time for him to go to Europe if he can find that right offer to where the club is a good fit for
I
him to
mean,
where
think of
he's going to
maybe
go in and play right away.
a team in the Premier League who are close to the bottom, like a Sheffield,
Hmm.
that kind of just need an offensive spark. I think that.
Yeah, or like a full
Mhm.
something like that. Even if you look in the Bundesliga, maybe
West
one of the
Brom, yeah.
lower Bundesliga squads. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see him go to Europe and just prove to a lot of people, because a lot of people questioned it. I have no question. I think he's good enough to play in
Yeah.
Europe, but maybe that's just something to where he's going to go over there and do it and prove it to
But you
everybody that
understand the questioning is valid because
yes,
it's not like you shouldn't be questioning this because you hear Alexi Lawless who is just like, no, he doesn't need to go to Europe to be recognized as a good player. I'm like,
yeah,
yes, he does. Like
hmm
you can win all the MLS Cups you want with Seattle.
hmm
But at the end, like we've already talked, maybe if Seattle was going on to win the CONCACAF Champions League, then he's getting more recognition.
right.
But I think the world of Jordan Morrison. I want him to get the recognition across the globe that he kind of deserves at this
And not
point with
just
the
not
goals that he
just
scores.
not just U.S.
Yeah.
exposure.
And I think even if it's a loan spell or something like that away from Seattle early in the season to where they need some team in Europe needs him to get over that relegation hump. I think that's a good spot, but we'll see. I think we'll start to hear rumors as we get closer to the new year. So let's dive into this, David. There's a lot of action from this past week, and just kind of players shining in a couple spots. I kind of want to start though with we kind of talked about McKinney a little bit already. He's been playing every single day. It seems like he's playing under, in my opinion, top 10 best midfielder in the world as his manager like ever.
hmm
Andrea Pirlo, just the magician. And if you're catching Pirlo's eyes, you're doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said when we talked about him winning Player of the Year, he's been playing excellent right now for Juventus. When that loan, when the loan was made, and they're like, oh, he's going to Juventus, we were all excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we expected this quickly. Just his player growth from the beginning of this year to where he is now, he's a completely different player. Like he was good at Schalke, but he
Mm-hmm.
is light years ahead
It's the
right
players around
now
you
to
also.
where exactly. And I think the same that goes into Sergio Dest. When you look at the Sergio Dest thing, he's playing at Barcelona. The player quality in Barcelona and Juventus is definitely rubbing off on these guys and
Mm-hmm.
making them better. Obviously, he had that great goal for Juventus in Champions League against Barcelona, which was incredible. It's great to see him doing that. And my favorite thing is, you get to see the guys, you get to see him celebrate with Ronaldo. You see Sergio Dest celebrating with Messi and all, arguably the best two players in the world. They've been the best two for the last decade, maybe
Yeah.
longer. And it's great to see these young Americans being able
I
to
think
play with.
Lewandowski is in that conversation at the moment. He's
Yeah,
on.
now
On something.
Lewandowski, but Chris Richards, give him another year. Maybe Chris Richards be right there with Lewandowski celebrating. Um, but yeah, McKinney's been excellent. Same thing with Sergio Dest. Um, Obviously, with the other right back for Barcelona going down with an injury probably a month ago now,
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Dest has started every single match now, probably for the last month for Barcelona, to where he was kind of splitting time at first.
Yeah, with
But I think
Roberto.
right now he's definitely the number one right back for Barcelona. He just picked up an assist just yesterday in their match. Made a great run down the right side and did just drilled it low right on top of the 6-yard box for a tap in for the
Braithwaite was
strike.
there for a tap in, and
Uh huh.
it's great to see. I love Serginho Destin. Obviously, is that how much I support Ajax as my second club. Seeing that development for an American
hmm
player and then go over, it's pretty cool to watch. But elsewhere in Europe, I gotta shout out Yedlin. He's finally getting some minutes, and he's playing really well for Newcastle, in my opinion, and trying
hmm
to get back in that wing back conversation that seems to be just filled with names at the moment for the American national team.
Yeah, you kind of forget about him, which is crazy because 2014 he was the guy. Like everybody remembers him from the
Mhm.
2014
He
World
would have been
Cup,
the
and
guy
then
in 18 if we made the
yeah,
World
oh
Cup.
yeah, he would have started it right back in 2018 if we were there. Yedlin's only 27. It's not like he's really really old. Like he's still there. He's still gonna get a look at. It's good to see him playing for Newcastle. I would still like for him to potentially transfer some potentially go somewhere else to where he's starting game in and game out.
Mhm.
I think he needs that, and he knows that because he definitely sees all these young guys coming up behind them. He sees the Robinsons, he sees the Des, he sees Cannon, he sees Reynolds. Like he sees all these young guys that he's like, oh crap, like I need to be
I
playing.
don't even have a spot right now on a
Yeah, I
roster
don't.
probably.
He's like, I don't even have a backup spot. When you look at it, he might not even be a backup. He might be third in line right now at the
Yeah.
left or right back
It
position.
might. I think we're getting into a just kind of reminds me of the Demarcus Beasley situation where Demarcus Beasley was still relatively good, getting close to 30, and we had these other wing backs that were making
Mhm.
noise, and you get him on the roster for that experience. That I think come a 2022 World Cup, I
Mhm.
Yedlin's probably there, but
Yeah.
not maybe he's not there. He's not the starter. Like that's
No.
a foregone conclusion. But it's World Cup experience that you
Mhm.
need in situations like that, especially when you've
To help the
missed
young guys
one.
out. Yeah.
Because we just missed the last one, so we're gonna have a lot of really young guys who haven't even stepped foot in a
Exactly. Yeah.
competition like that, and a Yedlin and a
We're not going to have
Brooks.
a lot of them. Maybe, yeah, Brooks. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of guys that were there from that 2014 World Cup on the
Yeah, so
squad.
he's needed, and the more playing time he gets, the better it just prepares us, in my opinion.
Yep.
Also, you got some background on this Brooks injury that happened a week ago.
Yeah, that's he finally got subbed into their match for midweek. He didn't play over the weekend, which was kind of a surprise at first. That was the first match he did not start for Wolfsburg the whole year. Uh,
And he hasn't
Basically
even
he
came off
had
as a sub, correct? So he
yeah,
hadn't
like
missed
he's
a
been
minute yet.
playing. Yeah, hadn't missed any minutes. Turns out he did get a little knock in training. It doesn't seem to be too serious, obviously, as he did sub in their weekday match. Although Wolfsburg did get their first loss, so they're no longer undefeated anymore.
Uh,
That streak did end. I would say that's part of the reason, maybe big reason John Brooks did not play the full 90 minutes, which would be a big reason with that. You're having to change your center back. When you can keep those same two center backs on a team, regardless national team, or a club team, it's good for your club to have those same two center backs. It's a great connection with the goalkeeper.
exactly.
Um, but it's good to see that it wasn't a serious injury because John Brooks has definitely had some injury problems before in the past, and it's great to see him back so quickly. And we expect
Exactly.
come New Year, he's definitely going to be back in the
Mhm.
starting lineup again for Wolfsburg.
And on Wolfsburg and Brooks, I just gotta say, a loss and a win is better than two draws in a row, points wise. So
Hmm.
they lost a game and then won a game, and that actually bumped them up into the top four when they were sitting at six. So sometimes you need to lose some to win some, and it ended up working out for Wolfsburg. And we could end up seeing John Brooks in the Champions League next year if they keep up this throughout the season.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
pretty
know,
awesome.
crazy.
But let's keep the injuries going. Sadly, Musa took a little bit of a hit over the weekend.
Yeah, against Barcelona in their match, he did get hurt. That game, there was a monumental moment for the national team. Two Americans started in a La Liga game for the first time ever against each other, which Yunus Musa and Sergino Dest starting against each other. Musa did pick up an injury probably 15, 20 minutes into that match to where he had to come off. Thank God it wasn't anything serious because he just got subbed back in mid match yesterday against Sevilla. They did lose 1-0, but he was subbed in the 68th minute. So it just goes to show that it was nothing serious for the young lad that hopefully will come over to the national team. We're really wanting him to.
Yeah, I think he's there. In my opinion, we'll do like a quick little roundabout here. Oda Zowie is came on at halftime against Chelsea over the
Hmm.
weekend, and was electric. Came on, got an assist
Spectacular, yeah.
relatively quickly. Just a big man in the midfield. That seems like he can body whoever the hell he wants in the Premier League at 19 years old.
He's 6'2", 6'3". The thing about this kid, he's only been playing soccer for 5 years. Like he
Yeah.
started playing soccer when he was 14. And
Hmm.
we always talk about that, like the best athletes in America, in the U.S., they play football, they play basketball, they do other sports.
Yeah.
This is a guy that he started playing soccer. Like he's
5 years
6'2",
ago.
6'3". I mean, he's no small. He's not skinny. Like he's built. He's
Yeah.
jacked. Like this is a big dude. Like I know I saw a picture of him next to Mason Mount, and it made Mason Mount look like a little kid. Obviously, Mount's not that small, but still, the angles might have made. But not. I'll swat him. He's huge.
Yeah,
This is
he's
a
a
big
big dude,
dude.
and like you said, I
And
mean, this is what we've been talking about before. That
yeah,
we need to make soccer more important in this country in order for us to get better. And like with the Olympics, people talk about the basketball team; they don't talk about the soccer team.
hmm,
Everybody, what's the biggest day on the calendar in the United States? That's not a holiday. It's the Super Bowl. Football
exactly.
and basketball take supreme over soccer, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter how good our squad is. And
Hmm.
here's kind of a situation where he's just a built athlete. That's what he is.
Yeah,
And
that's
at
why he's
14,
just
he
an
was like,
athlete.
screw it, I'll give soccer a go. And
Yeah.
5 years later, he ended up starting a game for a team in the Premier League. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. So after that Chelsea game, he did get his first start for Wolves. This midweek game, they started him at the number 9 position. He played striker, so he came in as a substitute midfielder against Chelsea, and they had him playing striker against West Brom, I think, is
Mhm.
who they played. So I mean, it just goes to show that this guy's versatile. They see his talent. They see that he can pretty much play any position. Like that. That's just the athlete he is. There's not a lot of guys that can do that. That can play center mid. That can play striker. That can play like an outside back. This guy is one of those guys that pretty much could play any position on the field.
Yeah, I totally agree. Quick roundabout though. Chelsea game. Pulisic's back on the field. Looks fully
Hmm.
healthy. The beard's gone, sadly. But he did. He didn't get an assist, but he did set up the last goal for Chelsea. If you want to kind of give us a little play-by-play from that.
Yeah, the third goal, it's great to see because him and Tammy Abraham had a great 1-2, which kind of gave me little flashbacks to last season during
Hmm.
during the COVID lockdown
During
when
the
they were
Liverpool
playing.
game, it was the big one.
Yeah, where they had like a little 1-2. It was just a great play by Pulisic, and then Tammy to feed him the ball right back. Pulisic just makes a darting run down the midfield. He pretty much runs from midfield all the way down to the 18-yard box, and just ran past three guys. I think there was five guys drawn towards him. At one point, he had five guys looking at him. He lays the ball off. The Mason Mount, which it was kind of a bad pass at first. He kind of had too much on it, but Mason Mount recovered, played a beautiful cross to the back post to Christian Pulisic, who I thought was for surely going to head the ball in, and don't know what happened there. But luckily, it fell right to Tammy Abraham, who put home his second goal of the match and pretty much
Second goal
put
in
it
two
in
minutes
the
to
game.
seal that game for Chelsea.
Yeah, but that goal is all Pulisic. That was
For
a
sure.
great 1-2 by him, and Tammy Abraham made a great run down the. And that's the stuff we know that Pulisic do.
Hmm.
And everybody knows Pulisic can do that, and it's just great to see him back. He's still playing right wing for some reason. You know, they still have him on the. I don't like Timo Werner on the left. He has been nothing
Nothing
good.
spectacular on the
Honestly,
left.
he
When
had an open. Pulisic should have had an assist to Timo Werner earlier in the
he
match, and
Werner
Timo
kicked the ground first, it looked
kicked
like.
the ground. It was an awful shot. I don't think Timo's a winger. I mean, he needs to play playing striker, but I
Yeah.
mean, you got Giroud, you got Tammy Abraham. I mean, it's tough though because you got your other wingers that are injured. But not to talk about them too much, but Pulisic played great. It's
Yeah,
great to see him
exactly.
back in form. Um, Look to
So
see him keep that form against Arsenal on Saturday too.
mhm.
By the way.
Oh, for sure. And so I got two more players, kind of just to give quick little shout outs here. Julian Green has been playing a lot of minutes for his club in the second division of the German
Hmm.
league, and they actually knocked out Hoffenheim, who is in the Bundesliga, in the round of 32 of the Pokal Cup, which is the German national tournament.
Yep.
So he's now brought his team into they won in penalty kicks 7-6, so it was a tight
Yep.
one. But they're in the final 16. That's a team in the second division making it that far. You know, that's kind of big news for him. And he's been playing Cam every day pretty much for his
Yeah,
club. And that's pretty
he's been
awesome.
playing excellent for his club. Yeah. So shout
And
out to Julian Green.
yeah, it's been great. And then Wea also kind of to close out our player.
Finally, yeah, we always talk about free Tim Weah. It
He's
seems like
free, man.
they finally caught on to it. He's been playing excellent. He's had two goals probably within the last 2 weeks for Lille. He got subbed on for the last 30 minutes against PSG, which is arguably the biggest club over there in France. He's able to play that. He scored against his old club, Celtic, in Europa League.
He wanted to
It's just
celebrate.
yeah, didn't even celebrate. He's just
Wanted
a
to.
class
You could
guy.
tell.
Yeah, wanted to, but it's great to see him. He's one of those guys that everybody roots for. It's great to see him actually finally getting minutes for the team and producing. Um, I think I saw that he's played maybe like a fifth or the sixth of the amount of time that one of their other strikers has played, and he has the same
The
amount of goals.
Canadian.
Yeah, David, the Canadian David. Yeah, and it just goes to show like that Timothy Way is going to produce. Put him on the field, he's producing for you.
Hmm. No matter what position he's playing. I mean, they put him at
Now,
wing back also. So this is kind of a little special segment that we prepared here today that we were really excited about. You know, this is our first year doing this podcast, and we wanted to bring you guys a team of the year. And we'll kind of we'll start at the back and bring it up. And this is the official Yanks in Europe team of the year for 2020. We're gonna kick it off though at keeper with Zach Steffen. In my opinion, probably the best performance over the course of the calendar year. There's
mm-hmm,
not a lot to choose from. And Horvath had that really good performance in the Champions League.
mm-hmm.
But outside of that, Stefan kept a clean sheet against Wales and got a big win against Panama. So I don't really think there's anywhere else we could go. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. He's had a couple good matches for Manchester City also. Obviously they're no slouch. They're one of the better teams in the Premier League. He played a good team for the games for the national team. If there's no COVID this year, there probably would have been more national team games, and he would have played more games. So
Mhm.
it's tough that it's tough when it comes to keeper. But I'd say Stefan definitely that goalkeeper. On the defensive side for our wing backs, we got Sergino Dest over there at the right back, and then left back, Antoine Robinson. Um, I think he's been playing excellent for Fulham. People said, he kind of didn't look too sharp for the national team in that game against Wales. He played against Wales. I just think his speed is just a whole different dimension. We have a lot of speed on the team. I think he might be the fastest player on the national team.
Hmm.
And he's been playing excellent for Fulham. Like, I think he's one of the top 3 left backs rating
Yeah,
in the Premier League this year.
behind Ben
And
Chilwell. Yeah,
he
and
shut down. He shut down Mo Salah. Like when they played Liverpool, that was his best game of the season against Liverpool,
mhm.
and when they tied 1-1, which is incredible. Like when we saw him go to Fulham, we all talked about, oh yeah, it's pretty cool. We did not expect this. I mean, if he keeps playing like this, he potentially could be going to a bigger team within the next year or two. Like he could
Yeah,
potentially
I
be
want to keep my
playing.
hopes up that Fulham stays up though, so he gets more minutes because
Exactly.
they're in
Yeah.
that relegation battle.
Uh-huh.
And who knows what happens if he goes
Yeah.
down.
So
Uh,
then
but our
center
center
backs.
backs, yeah, we've got Brooks. No shocker there. We've talked
Nope.
plenty about him. So I'll move it over to Mark McKenzie. We've got our first MLS name in our team of the
Hmm.
year.
I think it's well
You're big on
deserved.
McKenzie.
Yeah, well deserved. I mean, he was excellent all year in the MLS. Obviously, he made the team of the year in the MLS at one of the center back positions. He was on the MLS team that played against El Salvador, where they pitched a shutout. I think he commanded the back line excellent the whole match. I think he was the guy, and I expect him to potentially be that next guy up, to be with John Brooks, in the center back role, either him or Chris Richards.
Hmm.
Obviously, you
I
have Matt
totally agree.
Miazga, but I think giving it to Mark McKenzie.
Agreed, agreed. No shockers for two of our midfielders, Weston McKennie out of Juventus and Tyler Adams out of Red Bull. But the big name in there, Aronson, who another performer out of the MLS, has going to make his move over to Europe coming in January. So it's a great little midfield pairing there, and I hope this is a group of three that we see soon.
Yeah, I would love to see Aronson be able to play. And he's going over to Europe now. He's going to get a chance when the national team calls next year and they need a European squad. Aaronson's going to be on that squad, and I would look forward to seeing him play with all these Europe guys. He was there on the MLS type team for the national team when they played El Salvador, and he played really good, really well. I would love to be able to see him to play with Adams and McKinney. No, we're not mentioning Musa. Musa's only been half a United States national team player for probably the last 2 to 3 months.
Yeah,
We're
so
going. This is based off a whole year. We're giving it to Aronson. He's had an excellent year, calendar year.
totally agreed. No shockers on our two wingers for this club. We've got Pulisic over on the left and Gio on the
Mhm.
right.
Yep.
Pulisic, obviously, post right after the COVID comeback, was absolutely electric for Chelsea in the Premier League, scoring goals and assisting goals at will. It seemed like, and Gio has just been doing it. Whether it's the
Goals
Champions
and
League,
assists. Yeah.
for the American
Premier League.
team,
Yep.
in the Bundesliga, he's just scoring and assisting whenever the
Goal
hell he wants.
contributions. Yeah, he's been playing excellent.
Yeah, and we're gonna close out the starting 11 with a bit of a shocker at striker. But if you look at the numbers and you look at what he did this year, Zardes is my striker for team of the year.
Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, obviously you got Josh Sargent over there in the Bundesliga. You say you want to give it to him, but when you look at it for a whole calendar year, who's being the most productive, it goes to Zardes. He's been most productive. It kind of hurts Sargent playing for the club he's playing for, but at the end of the day, when you do get those 1 to 2 chances per match, you gotta put him away.
Hmm.
He's not getting as many chances, but Zardes gets the more chances. He puts the majority of his chances away. You obviously got Daryl DK over there in the MLS, but I think Zardes gets the nod. I think he was the best striker this year when it comes to the national team.
Yeah, and I guess if we're gonna put a manager of the year, we're gonna go Marsh, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesse Mars. Yep. Definitely.
Well, let's close things out here, David, with just a quick games to look forward to on the weekend.
Hmm.
The only leagues that are playing this weekend are Turkey and England. So we've got Chelsea Arsenal, the London Derby on Saturday at 12:30.
Big
Um,
man. Yeah. Big game.
big game. Pulisic probably starting. Look out for Florian Belugan from New York City. Hasn't actually picked what national team he's gonna be playing for, but he has scored recently for Arsenal and did
Okay.
come on yesterday against Manchester
Yeah.
City.
Could potentially see him getting subbed on in this match.
Exactly.
Also 10 a.m.
10
Fulham
a.m.
and Southampton. Yeah. Robinson's gonna keep his strong starting over there at the left back or left wing back position for
Mhm.
Fulham. So before you get to see Pulisic tear apart Arsenal at will, put on that 10 o'clock game and watch Antoine Robinson with the Fulham squad. look to get a win against Southampton.
For sure. 3 o'clock. I don't know if either of them will be in the starting lineup, but we've got Newcastle versus City. Yedlin has been playing a lot for Newcastle, so this could be another spot for him, maybe to get a big start against a big club with
Mhm.
those crazy wingers that they have over there, Raheem Sterling and Mahrez and all of them. I don't think Stefan gets in this game, but it's worth a note, worth a watch, being that Stefan did just play yesterday and pick up a 4-1 win over Arsenal.
Yeah, agreed. It's worth a watch. We'd love to see Yedlin get some playing time again against a big squad to see what he can do. And to finish it up, one game on Sunday, we Wolves versus Tottenham. Owen Atawali, I know we've been talking about him. He's played the last 2 matches for the Wolves. I don't know if he's going to start. Would love to see him start against Tottenham. Tottenham is one of the top teams in the Premier League this year right now. If not, definitely expect him to get subbed in. Potentially come in as another sub and get some more quality minutes with the first team.
Yeah, it just goes to show how our players have been progressing throughout the year. When the season started, we really had to talk about in the Premier League was that Pulisic was playing for Chelsea, and now we've got Robinson playing for Fulham day in and day out. Yedlin's getting minutes, Stefan's getting minutes, Otisau. We've got all these clubs all of a sudden that really we need to take time to talk about, and that's pretty awesome. But we just want to say happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys enjoy everything that's going on. I know COVID's been a little crazy, but find the time to be with your family if you can and enjoy. Hopefully we get some snow here. I doubt it, but it should be going to be a nice couple of days to relax.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
See ya.